sync with live. Okay, that might be better. Let me make sure camera layer is on top. All right. So anyways, this is the dashboard when you do a fresh install of Run TP. So I swear I gave it more than 2 gigs of RAM, but that's what it's showing. It's 0% of 2 gigs. 4 gigs of disk space out of 15. Maybe I didn't give it more than that. Okay, I believe this is actually correct because I threw this demo instance up on a LexC container in Proxmox. So I purposely made it lower spec than I normally would because personally, I would run this in a VM and just because that's what I prefer for most things. Not to say that containers aren't useful, but I guess I'm getting to be old school and still like my full fat VMs. So I don't have any apps installed currently, and it's got an app store. And I wish it gave you a number of apps that are available, but it does have categories. So if we wanted network, we've got Cloudflare, Dynamic DNS, Duck DNS, Libre Speed, Pi-hole, Tailscale, Zero Tier, WireGuard, Watch Your LAN. So, some pretty useful stuff there. Under media, you've got your typical applications. I'm going to try to avoid running afoul of the YouTube powers that be, and I'm not going to mention any of these by name, but yeah, you know what these are. Development, Buddy Base, Code Server, so that's VS Code in a browser, Git, IT Tools, MongoDB, Semaphore, which is a UI for Ansible. That's something I've been wanting to play with anyway, so that could be fun. Semaphore UI. Modern UI for Ansible, Terraform, OpenTofu, Bash, and Pulumi. Lets you easily run Ansible playbooks, get notifications, blah, blah, blah. If your project has grown and deploying from terminals no longer for you, then Semaphore UI is what you need. Note, if you want to use a path for a repository in Semaphore, you can add your own repo in Run TP app data Semaphore data repositories, and in Semaphore use /repositories /my repo. Well, that's cool. I wonder if this, since it's a Docker-based container, I wonder if it installs Ansible as well as the UI itself. Again, I'm not familiar with this, so that's something I'm going to want to dig into a little bit more before I install it. I just want to know what I'm installing and what components I may need to work with it. Let's see, we've got Swifty, which is a web SSH and telnet tool, and WeCan, which is a Kanban or Kanban, depending on what your preference is for pronunciation. But yeah, we've got some things that are similar to, we've got Home Assistant, Red Node, and Zigbee to MQTT, Notion or N8N, ESP Home, FlowWise, which build large language model apps easily. So again, that's a sort of a node based builder. Mosquito, which is another MQTT server. Active Pieces, this is what I was thinking of. This is an alternative to Zapier or Zapier or however the hell you want to pronounce that. And could be kind of useful. I'm not sure how useful it'll be just running locally and not exposed to the wider internet. But you know, I always look at some of these tools as being fun to run locally to get a feel for them. And then, you could always move it to a VPS on Linode or your preferred choice of VPS platform. Social, you've got the cal.com, which is an alternative to Calendly. Gramps Web, Haven, which is a private blogging platform. There's an IRC server. There's Mastodon, Proxy Talk. This is an alternative front end to TikTok. Not sure how I feel about that, but WordPress, Write Freely. So, they've got some fun stuff there. You've got a bunch of utilities, change detection, bezel, agent, and server, which could be interesting to check out at some point. Deluge, Dockage, or Docch. I don't know. Draw.io. There's a bunch of these that are interesting. Image, Libre Photos, and Photo Prism. Image, I think, is the most popular of the bunch. I think I've still got an image running on my network on Casa OS. There's a bunch of security related stuff. Zero tier, Tailscale. Absent is NetBird. I would like to see NetBird included in this mix at some point. Featured, nothing. Books, Audio Bookshelf, Booksonic, Calibre, Open Books, and Suwayomi. Okay. Looks like it might be Japanese or some such thing. Judging by the icon. So it's a highly multi-platform. It's an independent Takayomi compatible software and is not a fork of Takayomi. It's a manga reader. Okay, that's what we needed to find out. So there's books, there's data, and I would imagine there's Metabase, there's MongoDB. Yeah, there's a few things that are missing that I would think would be here, especially if they want to be a competitor to Casa OS. Um, the database front ends that are like the spreadsheet on steroids type of thing. They're all missing. I mean, Metabase might be something like that. Simplest, fastest way to get business intelligence and analytics to everyone in your company. Maybe, maybe not. Um, so, oh, there's a Nextcloud Mini. That's interesting. OwnCloud, Pingvin, Resilio. Um, Good morning, Jacob. Welcome in. We are taking a look through Run TP right now. Just looking at what's available in their app store. Music. These are interesting. Finance, actual budget. Surprised dumb budget isn't in here. Invoice Ninja. And for gaming, we've got some game servers. Crafty, which I'm guessing is a Minecraft server front end. Emulator JS. Lodestone Core, NextGBA, and ROM app. Scan, enrich, and browse your game collection with a clean and responsive interface. Will support multiple platforms, various naming schemes, and custom tags. Must have for anyone who plays on emulators. So, yeah. Cool. So, that's just a little bit of what's available in the App Store. This is the current up-to-date version. There are user settings, so if I want to go purple with my primary color, I could do that. Say update settings. Security, I just did a dummy email. You do have the option for two-factor authentication here. App stores. Okay, so this is cool. Add an app store. So doesn't give you a list of any, but it does give you the option to enable them, right? Make sure you trust the app stores you add, and then logs, of course. So they've got a few warnings in here in the logs, which I guess is all right. I'm not terribly worried about that, but something I would like to see them address in the future. I would guess that they're aware of this. But when you are on, and it looks like it's in UTC for the time zone, which is not my time zone, but that's all right. When you're on a version this far above a 1.0, version 4.3.0, I would prefer, and maybe it's just me, but I would prefer to see more of the warnings taken care of. So, again, not a huge deal. So, Let's go back to the App Store and let's go up to, I don't know, utilities. And excuse me. Let's see what we want to install. I don't know. Let's just do Libre Speed. Enter the password. Create port. Expose app on local network. Enable authentication. For this, I don't feel the need. Expose app on internet. Okay, let's do install. This is 8084. Okay, so we've got Libre Speed installed. Let's open it. Let's try the IP or the domain name, the local domain name. And doesn't look like that's going to play nice. So let's go to the IP address. And interesting. All right, well, so yeah, we've got Libre Speed running. And if we go back to my apps, it's going to show Libre Speed here. Like Casa OS, you can also do local options on here as well. Link title is going to be PVE01. Proxmox. And link logo URL. So here's something else that I found out about recently. self.h.st/icons. I'll put this in chat as well. This site has icons that you can use in various dashboards. We search Proxmox. We can say we want the PNG. Icon, and we'll copy the link, and we'll come back here, and we'll paste the link in there, and we'll say submit, and we've got a pretty Proxmox icon. That's kind of cool. I just discovered this morning, so, and coffee's cold again. So yeah. Okay, so I've got a few of you here in the audience. I'm going to jump back to me full screen again. I'm going to click auto sync. And so that should put me back here and full screen even, which is great because it was misbehaving before. So I want to check one thing here. I want to back here. Look at this. And let's see if it'll tell me. Hey, look at that. 2 concurrent viewers, which looks like we hit 5 at one point. So thank you all for being here. I want to say that first and foremost. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put up a poll, and I'm going to step away to refill my coffee, and then I will be back, and we'll look at the results of the poll. So let me switch over to that, and I will be back on screen in a few minutes. All right, I am back. It doesn't look like anybody's voted in the poll, so we will just continue on with our discussion. Um, so, good morning, Grish. Welcome in. So, I believe, although this does not make it obvious, so comment with the option text to vote. Only one entry is accepted per person. Maybe this isn't working correctly. Let me, just for grins, let me do this. And we'll jump into.
Oh my God! My mom ditched all her.
Sorry about that. I opened up a private window, and of course, the first thing that it did was put up a oh, I can't do that over here, can I? Okay, so what if I log in with ooh, okay, we can do that one. Copy this, and we'll come back over here. Browsing. And this. And hopefully, yes, it's me. Continue. Cancel. Okay. So it's going to force another ad, but I am logged in, so I can like the video, and I hope everybody else will as well. What if I comment in here 2x per week? Will that register? Will that register? I don't know. There it goes. There it goes. All right. So I guess I should do a little more prep and explanation on these polls before I put them up and walk away. My bad. All right, so let me go back to the camera view again, and we'll try to play nice with this. All right, so anyway, I just wanted to come on this morning and talk a little bit about Run TP, and we've talked about that. Before we started, I attempted to get a VM install going so that I could get through this, but I never completed the install. So let me do that in the background while we are having a little chat, and go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm using this as a dry run. I am going to do a dedicated video on Run TP, and then I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison between Run TP and Casa OS. Excuse me. I might even throw Zima OS into the mix, but Run TP is a closer competitor to Casa OS. Zima OS has more features, and I don't think it would be a fair comparison. Okay, that's fine. Bear with me just a moment, and we'll let this do its thing in the background. Okay, so since I'm staying home this weekend, and again, I'm not going to go into the backstory, but I am trying to get some, trying being the optimal word here, and I don't want to use that. I will be getting some footage recorded for some upcoming videos. I am going to dedicate, I've got to do this positively, right? I am going to dedicate a chunk of each of the next few days, today, starting today and the next few days, to getting some of this stuff recorded, even if it's not edited for release. I want to try to get in the habit of doing the batch recordings and maybe experimenting with changing up the format of some of my videos, right? So, for instance, this live stream is kind of a dry run for something, and the Run TP video is going to start off like this video started off, showing the interface and just doing a quick walkthrough of the interface and showing off a couple features. There will be a brief explanation, and we'll look at the website and show the system requirements and things of that nature. And then we'll run the install itself, just so people can see what is involved. And I kind of want to adopt this as a semi-regular format going forward for the long form videos. And you know, potentially depending on what the response is to them, potentially use this going forward. So some of the recent feedback I've had shows that new viewers, not the regulars, but new viewers are confused by Proxmox. So unless I am saying up front that a video is intended for an immediate, intermediate to advanced audience, I am not going to show Proxmox. What I will do instead is have a VM prepped ahead of time, log in via SSH, and then there's no question. You need a Linux box running SSH server, and these are the specs that you need, or these are the specs that I'm using. And your mileage may vary, caveat being applied. My hope is that by not showing all the setup pieces, the back-end setup pieces in Proxmox, that new users will be less confused, and there will be fewer questions that in the comment section that could have been answered by asking Google or ChatGPT or your AI friend of choice, right? Myself, I tend to use three. GPT for All, which is a local option for running various large language models. Notebook LM, which is another option, local. You download the model and you run it on your machine, and you could unplug or disconnect from the network, and it doesn't need to go to the internet. The third one that I've been using is one I've been beta testing called Node Grid, which I believe is still coming out closer to the fall. I need to get back in touch with a developer this coming week after what would have been my vacation and is now a staycation is over, and just touch base and see where things are and jump back into doing a little bit of beta testing again. And something I discovered this morning that I didn't know about or hadn't paid attention to is that GPT for All and potentially others can directly download models from Hugging Face to run locally on your own computer. So I've got some playing to do on that as well, and potentially a video. So that's sort of where things are right now. And yeah, I just wanted to spend a few minutes this morning going over some of this stuff. And once this new server reboots, we will connect to it and go through the install for Run TP. So, any questions at this point? I know I've been running my mouth for a while, and I'll open it up to questions while this is finishing its reboot. $37. All right, let's jump over to the screen cap. And we are on. We are connected to our Run TP virtual machine. I've not installed it yet. I'm going to start updates. Okay, so while that's doing its updates, the Run TP website is right here. And I'll put that up in chat for a moment. And it's just got this little curl script to do the install. So we're going to copy that, and then we will wait for a few minutes while the updates finish. But it's, like it says, it's powerful, simple, reliable, secure, flexible, future-proof. And it's sponsored by CodeRabbit. Built by the community for the community. So, yeah, I mean, it's that's the scoop on it. So we'll wait for this to finish and go from there. Let's see. looks like I missed a couple of comments, so we'll look at those here. I hear double audio. Okay, that may take care of that. Let me know if it's better now. Nobody had mentioned an issue, but that's good to know. It's in sync, but it sounds interesting. Well, probably because I had speakers still turned on. But yeah, I'm trying to get some things streamlined, and I'm still working out a few bugs in the system, shall we say. And good morning. Welcome in. And let's see, we've got, when you jump to the screen, the audio fix, just camera scene sounds like it has the same audio source added twice. Interesting. I'll have to look at that when I jump back to that scene. All right, so we have our SSH connection to the new Run TP VM, and we'll run through the install. And this isn't going to take very long. Basically, it's going to install Docker. It's going to install the interface for Run TP and add whatever else it needs to the system, and go from there. So pretty quick install process overall. But I did want to kind of experiment with this new path for or format for my videos that I want to try out going forward. And this is just sort of a dry run so that I can sort of get a feel for it. Okay, so we are, I don't know why they put port 80 on the end. That's kind of redundant if you're already talking about HTTP. So we'll jump over to a new tab and paste that in. And of course, the first thing it's going to do is ask you to register for an account. We'll just do it this way. I don't think I typed that correctly. All right, and I'm not going to save that right now. Consider save and enter. Okay, so now we've got the same sort of thing. And yeah, this is showing 11 gigs used out of 49 available. And we've got 8 gigs of RAM in the VM, and it's using 13%. And CPU load is pretty low. So we'll jump into App Store, and we'll just search IT Tools, and we'll install this one. That's port 8171, expose on local network. Maybe I'll just leave that off. Maybe I'll just leave that off and see what happens. So that's already installed. We can see that it shows up on My Apps. And if we do open, we've got IT Tools available locally. So that's cool. If we go back to dashboard, we're at, well, under load, it looks like we're at under 4% of CPU used, and we're still not using much memory or disk space. So, you know, at this point, it's just down to adding whatever else you want to add. And we'll come back to the self-host icons, and let's try the WebP version this time. Just for grins. And it shows up with the Proxmox logos. If we click that, it opens up our Proxmox server. So you could use this as a dashboard, much like Homer or many others, or even Casa OS lets you do the same thing. You know, I think this is interesting. I'm not sure I would run it on bare metal. I think that would be potentially overkill, depending on what Docker containers I'm running on it. But you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, this even has owncast in here. Setting up an exposed instance with SSL certs. So, I mean, this is something I could potentially test out. I'm not sure if it would work for my particular scenario, but at least if I'm on my local network, I could use the local owncast server as sort of a proxy before going out to YouTube. So, I mean, if I were to experiment with OBS again, you know, I could go from OBS to owncast and then from owncast out. And then I'm not, you know, putting extra strain on my local machine by trying to push directly to the internet. Would probably add additional latency. I'm almost positive it would. But, you know, it might be worth playing with. This app uses the one tag. This means the image will be pulled every time you start it, and you may get rate limited by the registry. Okay. So we can do Uptime Kuma. I'm not sure where the development is on Uptime Kuma at the moment. It's I seem to remember that they were trying to work on a new version, and I don't think that's out yet. So let's open this up just for grins. And we'll just do demo at example.com. We'll create that. And we've got our status page. We've got our dashboard. Let's see. Settings. So tell us what version we're running. About 1.23.16. So they have 2.0 beta 3. So I have not looked at the beta yet. But the 1.23.16 came out in December of 2024. So that's like going on 8 months ago. beta 0. I don't know if 2.0 is a full rewrite or if they're just refactoring some code. Anyway, please also read all previous change logs if you are upgrading from version 1. But it does look like there are some nice additions here. We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, it would be interesting to see if using run TP, if we can update to version 2. And unfortunately, unlike Dockage or some of the others, it does not seem to let you edit the Docker Compose file to... oh, it does. Docker Compose YAML. Okay, you may break the app. That's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Can always reinstall. This is a Docker image override file. It will be merged with the base Docker Compose file of the app. You can find the base file in the apps folder. Okay, so let's jump back over here. So we've got migrated Uptime Kuma. Docker Compose YAML. So we have, we can take an override. I don't see why not. Just for playing purposes. This isn't production in any way. So if we took and we did this line here, we come back and we do this, and then we do, what does the beta page say? So if we want to come back here and go to, they have a, there we go, release 2.0.0 beta 2. And I want to know what the image is for this. And that's still showing 1. So we want to, well, let's just play, and if we break it, we break it. And let's say restart. Failed to restart Uptime Kuma, see logs. Okay. So obviously I need to read deeper into the documentation, and that's something I'll do later. Before my coffee gets cold again. It's only a little better than lukewarm, but anyway, what if we just do Uptime Kuma Docker image 2.0.0 beta 3. I don't know. Okay, so This is what we want. So we'll come back to this, and we will say this one. We will save that. And we'll say start. See logs for more detail. And I don't see any logs. Well, I guess I'll have to play with this some more. Or we can change it here. I think we can just comment that. Okay. Do that. Haha. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's not what I wanted. Try that. Hey. And then if we come here and we go to user config and we just take this out and save that, and then try to start it that way. Uptime Kuma app started successfully. This is still saying version 1, so we'll do open. And we'll take a look at settings, about, and it's still version 1. All right, so that didn't quite work the way I had. That's because, oh, I bet it's overriding any direct. Yeah. All right. Probably overriding any direct editing of the YAML file. So we'll save this, we'll stop this, and we'll restart. Failed to restart app. See logs. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yep. Doesn't like me. Anyway, I'll screw around with that later. All right, everybody. I am going to jump back here and see how long we've actually been live. Feels like it's been a hot minute. Reload that page. And it looks like looks like 8 concurrent viewers. Hey, thank you. Please like the video if you would. It would help the channel out a great extent. Stream health is excellent. And so, yeah, I think this went all right overall. It's almost 10:30, so we'll go another 2 minutes here to hit the 10:30 mark, which will get us to an hour and 15 minutes for the stream. And you know, this was fun. This was kind of spur of the moment, kind of semi-planned, but I wanted to kind of do a dry run through this new format that I've been thinking about for a while. Hopefully it will serve to address some of the issues that people new to the channel have, while still being useful to the community at large, shall we say, the faithful longer term viewers. But when I do the long form version of this video, and I will be re-recording it, I will put the chapter markers in, so you know, if people want to skip directly to the install, then you know, more power to them. But you know, I am trying to get back into being a little more consistent with the long form videos, and I feel like this is a good topic and a good path forward. And we'll see how it works out and what feedback I get from people for doing it this way. So looks like one thing I completely failed to do is put up an ending graphic on live reacting. So I am just going to thank you all one more time for being here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and spend some time experimenting, doing something interesting in your home labs or wherever you might be. And I'll see you soon. Have a good day.